Here's something crazy I found. The people who quietly build, they don't win the lottery. They don't even hustle that hard. They just do this one thing differently. See, most people think getting rich is about some magic formula or taking huge risks. But the truth? It's way more boring than that. In this video, we're breaking down the one habit that separates the wealthy from everyone else. And trust me, it's probably not what you think. Let me introduce you to Maria. Maria's not a genius investor. She doesn't have a trust fund. She's just a regular person with a regular job. But Maria has a secret weapon. She lives way below her means. When her co-workers were out leasing brand new cars, Maria drove her trusty Toyota. While they were jet-setting on expensive vacations, she explored local hiking trails and had staycations. And you know what? Maria didn't feel like she was missing out. In fact, she felt empowered. Because every time she resisted the urge to splurge, she knew she was building something bigger. She wasn't sacrificing her happiness. She was delaying gratification. And that, my friends, is the key difference. See, most people get stuck in the instant gratification trap. They want it all, and they want it now. But Maria, she understood the power of compound interest. She knew that by living below her means today, she was setting herself up for a much wealthier tomorrow. Maria didn't waste time trying to time the market. She knew that was a fool's game, even for seasoned investors. Instead, she did something much smarter. She automated her investments. Every month, like clockwork, a portion of her paycheck went straight into her investment accounts. No need to think about it. No need to second-guess herself. She diversified her portfolio with low-cost index funds and ETFs, focusing on long-term growth. This set-it-and-forget-it approach took the emotion out of investing. She wasn't swayed by market dips or panicked headlines. She knew that time in the market beats timing the market, and her consistent, automated approach was the key to riding out any volatility and coming out ahead in the long run. Now, I'm not saying Maria was a spreadsheet fanatic, meticulously tracking every penny. But she did have a system for keeping tabs on her spending. She used a budgeting app to categorize her expenses and identify areas where she might be overspending. The key here wasn't to obsess over every dollar, but to gain awareness. She found that by simply being mindful of her spending habits, she naturally started making smarter choices. She packed her lunch more often instead of eating out. She found free or low-cost entertainment options. And you know what? It wasn't about deprivation. It was about being intentional with her money and making sure it was aligned with her values and goals. Here's the thing about wealth. It's not a finish line, it's a journey. And as Maria's income grew, she faced a common challenge: lifestyle creep. But Maria was smarter than that. She knew that every raise wasn't an excuse to upgrade her lifestyle. Sure, she allowed herself to enjoy some of the fruits of her labor, but she didn't let her expenses balloon out of control. She stuck to her budget, kept her housing costs low, and avoided the temptation to keep up with the Joneses. This allowed her to maintain a high savings rate and accelerate her wealth-building journey. You know what's really expensive? Trying to impress people who don't actually care about your well-being. Maria understood this better than anyone. She didn't buy into the pressure to have the latest gadgets, the fanciest car, or the most Instagrammable vacations. She knew that true wealth wasn't about material possessions. It was about financial freedom, security, and the ability to live life on her own terms. So she tuned out the noise. She ignored the Joneses. And she focused on what truly mattered to her. This allowed her to stay laser-focused on her goals and avoid getting sidetracked by the fleeting allure of consumerism. So what's the one habit that made Maria wealthy? It's not just one. It's a combination of all these habits, driven by a mindset of intentionality, discipline, and long-term thinking. If this made you rethink wealth a little, hit subscribe. That's all I ask. And let me know in the comments, what habit do you think matters most when it comes to building wealth?